Hello, everybody. Old Fogey here again with Old Fogey's Finds. Today, I guess we pick up with where I left off with my last video. In that one, I'd been telling you about how I started football 5th grade. So now it's time to go into baseball. Now, I played baseball in what at the time was Little League. The leagues have changed these days, but basically the same age groups. And the reason I started playing is my father had decided he wanted to coach a ball team. And several years before I was old enough to play, he had him a good reputation for winning team. So I played up all the way till till the year I could actually play on his team. Unfortunately, at that time, I decided it was time for me to quit sports and start earning my way. So I went and got a job. Started working on a payroll job the day I turned 16. That job lasted a while, like any. You know, when you're young, you move around a little bit. Through that time, I went through middle school, high school, did all these things like a normal kid would do. Yeah, except for one thing. I had a problem with bullies. I didn't like them. So when I saw somebody being bullied around, I stepped in, took up for them. Got a bit of a reputation, and before long, if I was out in public, say at a McDonald's or Jack in the Box, somewhere like that, I got to where I sat in a corner, or at least with my back to the wall, so I could see who was coming up at me. Decided then, well, I guess it was my senior year, starting of it anyways, when I decided it was time to get out of that attitude because I was afraid I might not live to see 20 years old. So I started bowing out of things. Doesn't mean I didn't still take up for the underdog, but I didn't go looking for trouble like I had been in the past. Now, it wasn't long after that, in my senior year, I moved out of the house. I was 17 years old, and I felt like my parents were good people to visit. I just didn't want to live with them any longer. So I moved out on my own, and actually I've never moved back in with them except for being home on leave from the military. But I wound up in a in a bit of a financial difficulty. I'd been working for a buddy supermarket for a certain amount, and there was a new supermarket drugstore type coming in. It was Skaggs Albertsons. I applied for a night position job there. Got hired in, gave my 2 weeks to buddies, and I showed up for my new job just to find out I had no job. The supervisor I was told to report to didn't have my name on his list of employees, didn't even have anything where I'd even applied for the company. In other words, they overhired and decided they didn't need as many people anymore, so I was one of the unfortunate ones that got ousted. Oh well. That led me to a part-time position working for Jack in the Box on the night shift. Well, that was a rough, fast-paced job. There were two of us on the shift, and we managed to hold it down. Did us a good job for the company. But that panned out just before Christmas when the supervisor decided he wanted to give a nephew a job and ousted me. Oh well, I wound up doing what I could to make a few bucks here and there. Wasn't having any luck getting a regular job. It was Christmas time. Everybody already had their seasonal employees, and right after Christmas, nobody's hiring. They're actually getting rid of their seasonal employees. So I wound up joining the Army. I joined to get in aircraft maintenance school. Now, in high school, I'd spent 3 years in Air Force ROTC. So when I joined the Army, I signed up for aircraft mechanic, which I got, and I did all right. Of course, I still had to go through regular basic training, and that's when they were making it, first starting to make Army all volunteer. So a lot of the training was cut out, like halfway through basic training, hand-to-hand combat was phased out. They'd already quit doing the night infiltration course training. Just a few things such as that. But then after that, I went to advanced instructions on aircraft. Started out learning how to work on Huey helicopters, and that helicopter had the same engine as the fixed wing aircraft I actually wound up being certified for. It was an OV-1 Mohawk. I spent 3.5 months or so in training for that. Then they sent me to Germany, on-job training track vehicles. Oh, I hated those track vehicles. Had diesel engines in them that leaked fluid all over the place. Oh well, it was a job. At least it wasn't infantry. I spent 4 months or so there in Germany doing that, and then came down on levee, went to Vietnam. Got back into aircraft maintenance there in Vietnam. Spent my time, got out, came home, just to find it hard to get work again, thanks to Hanoi Jane. It's a wonder she was able to keep her career after that, for what she did, all the propaganda she put out for the North Vietnamese a whole bit, but then that's another story. I bounced around a couple mediocre jobs till I wound up getting construction, which is, at the time, the best paying work I could get. And since that day, I spent, I guess, somewhere around 18, 20 years in various types of construction. In that time, I even learned water and sewer field. I already knew about it. My father was a career man from the city of Arlington, and I had an opportunity to go to work for a local city. I did. I went through schooling and all, wound up being certified by the state for the water and sewer treatment. After a while, I wound up running the water and sewer department for that city for about 1.5 years. And then I went back into underground utilities. Seems like the city and I had a little difference of opinion on how they ran things, so I left and went back into something else. And I wound up building sewer manholes for over 11 years. I worked all through the Metroplex. Dallas, Fort Worth, every little city in between and around. So I know my way around this area pretty well. Years later, when I bought this house I'm in, had a neighbor move in a couple months later, and before their first house payment was due, the husband left the wife. She didn't have a car, she didn't have a driver's license, just a decent paying job. The wife and I took her under our wing, kept her, tried to keep her calmed down and keep her head up. Another friend of hers taught her to drive and helped her get her driver's license. After that, she got her a car. So she started improving her lifestyle, and the wife and I got pretty friendly with her, and we just had a growing relationship since then. But while in those early years, this poor lady, she just moved down here from New York, had no idea how to get around in the area, so she relied on maps. Now, this was before GPS was available, or at least affordable. And anytime she got lost, she'd call me, and it didn't matter where she was at or where I was at. It wasn't but a few minutes later she was back on the road and knowing where she was going. So as long as I had my phone handy and she had hers handy, she was never lost. Kind of like me, I don't get lost here. Things have changed so much that I may not know exactly where I am because roads have been rerouted for construction, home construction, or apartments, whatever. New highways have gone in. Intersections have changed, but at least I don't get lost. I always know a direction to go to get to where I need to get to. So, after all those construction years, I got kind of tired of working in the weather. So I got into inside work, looking for manufacturing work, warehouse work. Oh, I wound up getting some decent jobs there. Next thing you know, I got into doing the maintenance work for these factories, repairing the machinery for production. I wound up doing pretty good at that. Advanced pretty good. Was making real good money. Helped my retirement out tremendously. I guess for right now, I've caught you up pretty much on what my qualifications for giving history in the area are. So I'm going to let you go with that. But before I let you go, I'd like to make a request. Now, I've seen views on my videos go up, which actually faster than I expected, but the problem is I get viewers, but I'm not sure how much these viewers like the videos. Few people have subscribed to the channel, which is free if you care to, but I need people to comment on the videos or give their opinions on what kind of content they'd like me to share with them, location they'd like to hear about, things like that. But I don't know where to go if you people don't tell me. So I'd appreciate some comments in the comment section, just giving me some idea of whether my videos are worth viewing or if I should go to a a different type of video altogether. Well, I guess that's all I have to say, so y'all have a good day and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.